Hello and welcome back. So the last sessions we had seen how to create a record in the database using model. So we had created some post record, and later we had also understood how to put that creation of the record behind the authentication so that only a authenticated user can create the post. Like he can go to the login page, he can log in, and then only he can create the post. So I'll just try to test it once again. If we go to the post create endpoint, so it takes us to the login page, and on the login page I'm going to log in with my user 1 2 3 4 5 6 8, I think 6. Okay, let me check the password again. Might be I'll register a new user in that case. So we have the user, and we want that the user can only get registered, log in and then create a new post. But let's make some assumption over here, because this is not yet end-to-end kind of project being created. So let's make an assumption that if the user is logged in and he can see the list of his post that he have created, and he wants to edit the post, right? And he wants to edit the post. Remember, we are assuming that the user has logged in and has created his post, right? Right now, it is not yet into the schema. We have not yet used the user ID in the post table. So we will come to it. We'll check it. If it is done, well and good. If not, we will do it. So we want that the user logins to the application. He checks like the post he has created. He sees the list like we are seeing it right now on the screen, and he clicks on this edit button, right? So if he clicks on the edit button, we want that the post should open up in a editable format, like a form where he can edit the title and he can edit the content, right? And then he can submit it again for publishing. Now why we need the editing part? Because there can be some, let's say, human error while typing. There was some mistake. He has published it, he noticed it later, he want to change it, okay, or he want to delete it, right? Or he wants to delete it. So today we are going to talk about the edit part. How are we going to manage the editing? So the first thing is you need a form where you will show the editing content, right? So I'm going to add a URL, a link to this edit hyperlink. So let's go to the view page. First of all, resource, views, post, and index. Okay, so in the index here, this is my edit, and I'm going to add a route over here. So to have that route, I need to create actually one route. Okay, I'll remove this content. So let's add the edit post a route. So it will be route colon get and a route colon post. So we are going to have two endpoints, right? One is to show the form, one is to show the post inside the editable form, and the second one is the updation when you are going to submit the form. So the one which we are going to fetch, right? So it will be post / ID. Okay, and next one we are going to say the parameter would be post controller colon class, and here we'll be having the show endpoint. Okay, so now the show endpoint is going to show the form. Sorry, it will be edit. Show is a non-editable endpoint, right? Show will be a non-editable endpoint. Edit will be we are going to map it with the edit method. Okay, so post, and I'll go over here, edit, right? So now post, edit, and this is my endpoint. Now second endpoint where we want to submit the form. Now compare it with the form which you submitted to create the post, right? This one, when you submitted the form to create the post in the database, the method you selected was post, right? But now when we are going to edit the form, right, and going to update it, here we are going to use a different method, that is put. We are submitting the whole form. When you are submitting the whole form, we are going to use the put method, right? Endpoint, I'll again write it /post /id, right? No need to write update because, sorry, not post, it should be put. So put method post id. So we don't need to write a edit or update at this point, right? Because the put method is actually required for this purpose only, is used for this purpose. So here we will map it with the method update. We are going to map it with the method update, and we don't have these methods, right? So we are going to create them inside the post controller. So I have a create method which was going to show the create form, store method which was going to show the handle the submission of the form, and then index method which is showing the listing of the post. Let's write public function edit method. So this is going to show the form for editing, and public function update, this will handle the submission of the editing form. Okay, so we need the request $request, and here again, when you are requesting for the edit, right, when you are requesting for the edit, look at this endpoint, it's accepting an ID over here. Okay, so might be you are going to write your URL like this, http localhost 8000 post edit /3. That means we have to edit the post number 3, right, or post with the ID 3. So this 3 will go to this variable. Now I need to use this variable here also. Okay, so I'm going to say $id. So this is like a URL parameter. This is a URL parameter. We have already done it in the email verification thing where we use the token. So now use this URL parameter, accept that URL parameter here, and you can fetch the post. You can write $post equals post colon find or fail. Okay, so now the Eloquent library is giving you one method, find or fail. You don't have to write up a complete like where filter and all. So one option is that you go and write post where id is $id and first. So what actually this where and first will do, they are going to check whether the ID is existing in the database or not. If it is existing, it is going to fetch the record, convert it into the PHP data object, right? I mean the object of post class, and will return it to you in the post variable. But assume that if the ID is wrong, suppose you are giving an ID which is not present in database, then your post will be a null value, right? Post will be a null. So in that case, you have to go and put a validation for this, if not $post, right? So here you have to handle the missing post thing. I don't want to do so much stuff, so I'm going to make it a bit easier. Post equals post colon find or fail method. Sorry, find or fail method. So find or fail method is always going to find the record by the primary key, right? And the value that we will be passing inside the URL will be the primary key only, right? 1, 2, 3, auto incremented. Making up a bigger application, large scale, want to keep it more secure, do not want user to directly put the value inside the URL, use UUIDs, right? So we'll understand the concept of UUID bit later, or string identifiers later. So here I'm passing the auto increment value of the database 1, 2, 3, 4, and this post model will find the record, right? If the record is not found, it will throw a model not found exception. Okay, it will throw a model not found exception, and Laravel is already handling it. It will show you that particular page, model not found exception, and the error page will be displayed, right? But we can handle it to give a better UI, right? So we are not going to show that default error page and all, but that part will be covered inside the error handling, right? Exception, when we are going to handle the exceptions. So right now I'm using this method. If the ID is not available in the database, it will show me a error page. Fine, it will work for me. Okay, so I got the post, and now if I'm getting the post, I'm going to return the view which is made for editing. Right now I have not created it, so I'll put it inside the post folder dot edit. Okay, and I'm going to pass this model inside that. Okay, it should be compact. So compact is actually looking for the variable with this name and passing it to your view. So this view is will be returned with passing the post model, right? And you have to use the post model to create the values inside that form. Okay, let's go to our view folder to create this view. Okay, so in the post folder I'll create a new file, edit.blade.php. We'll save our time. We'll copy this whole create code inside the edit. Okay, because actually we need a title, text field for title, and a text area for content. Okay, we'll make few changes over here. The changes are that instead of submitting this form to the post store, we'll submit it to the post update. Do not forget that this name is yet to be updated inside your web file. Okay, and similarly we can update the name here also. Post dot edit, right? Resource, sorry, keep it as posts plural. So resource dot method name, resource dot method name, and so route is created, controller is created for edit, and the view is also created, right? But let's make few changes inside the view. Title I have changed to edit post, and method is post, but the method that you are using in the web.php is put, right? So the form submission should be with the put method. Okay, how are we going to add the put method over here? So along with CSRF, you are going to use one more annotation, and here method you can write it as put. Okay, so don't make the change in this method, the one I have selected right now. It will remain as post. Okay, so it is Laravel which is going to handle it. It will add a hidden form field where it will specify that the form submission will be done with the put method. Okay, so label is fine. Then we have the text field, and inside the text field now value won't be the old title. Okay, value won't be the old title. Value will be actually the value from the post model. So post model, post object title. Okay, and similarly here text area name content is fine, error content is invalid. Okay, ID rows, everything is good. And here instead of old content we are going to write $post content. Okay, right, and at the last we have the submit button. We can change the value on it. I'll call it as update. Okay, let's quickly see how our edit form is looking. But for that we also need to go and update this index.blade.php because I need to add a hyperlink over here. So let's do that. I'll put it in double quotations because somewhere I would have to also add the single quotations inside my Blade directives. So here I'll use the route method, and the route method is for edit. So I'll say post dot edit, and I need to pass a ID also. Okay, so the ID here is $post ID. Fine, let's quickly go and refresh our page and see over here we have the edit. And if I just take my mouse over on the edit link, you can see on the left bottom a URL is formed, localhost 8080 post edit 19. right? So the ID of this post is actually 19, and therefore now when I click on this, 19 will be passed to the request in the URL parameter. It will fetch the post with the ID 19, pass it to the view, and the view would be returning it inside a form, right? So view will form a text field, content text area, and a update button. Okay, wow, we got some error. So post update also need an ID. Why it needs an ID? Because in the web.php, if you see your endpoint post ID, you need to specify this ID that actually I want to submit this form, and this form is going to carry the data which will update this particular post, right? That is the 19 number post. So we are going to the edit form, and here I have made a mistake. I missed something. That is, I have to supply the second parameter. Whenever we talk about the URL parameters in the route method, you can pass it as the second argument. Okay, so the second argument here would be the post. We are getting the post object, and its ID would be passed. Okay, let's go back, refresh this, click on edit, and here you can see the form. Post title is this, post content is this, and here is my update button. Okay, so now we want to update this value, right? Let's remove everything. I'm just going to keep some small text over here, but I'll keep this generator open. Okay, so I'm just going to put a single line. That's all. Value update. Okay, so now it is updating. Right now I'm seeing a blank page. The reason is I have not returned any value from the update, so I cannot say whether it was updated or not. And if I want to see whether it was updated or not, I have to go to the post again. No, it is not updated. What is the reason? The reason is I have not written a single line of code in the update method. Okay, so let's do that now. Here also the second parameter you will get is $ID, because it is a URL parameter, right? And we need to find the post ID. So once we get the post object, okay, once we get the post object, we can update that title equals to new title, input title field. Oops. And then we need to update the content. Fine. So $post, save. If everything is good, what should we do? We should write a flash message. Remember, in the last session we have done flushing the message into the session. So $request session flush, pass one value status and second value, and the message we'll put over here is post updated successfully. Okay, so wait, flash, this is flash method. So we are flashing a message over here, and we are going to return to the return redirect, and the route which we want to redirect is post dot index method. I'll confirm this whether I have updated it in the web.php or not. It is updated. Okay, so now the flow would be that user, let's say, logs into his account, he comes to the list of the post like it is on the screen, and then he clicks on the edit. So he sees the form, he updates up all the details. So for example, let's remove everything else, and now I'll click on update. So if everything is good, it should update the record, and it should redirect it back to the index page, right? Index page of the post list. So updated, yes, it is updated. Okay, but we have not seen that message. Now, if the message was not visible, the reason can be that you may not have added the view part of that message for that message, right? So we'll go to the login blade. I'll copy this thing. So that now you see there is some duplicacy over here. I have to copy the code from one file to the another file, which is not a good practice. No problem. We will update it. We'll update it. We'll see how we can reuse these things. Okay. So for now, I am going to add it over here in the edit page. Let's add it in the create also. In case if while creating up my post, if there is any error, then it will show the error message in the creation if there is any flash in the session. Okay. So let's go and quickly update it. I'll just simply click on update, and whether the message is there, no, not yet. Edit blade, status session. Okay, let's close this login, post controller, update, request session, flash, status. Okay, I'll try to resubmit once. Okay, I got my mistake. I am actually redirecting to the index view, right? So I need to update it inside the index view as well. I was actually going it back to the edit form. This would be possible if there was any error, right? I need to show it here in the listing view. Fine. So let's quickly test it. Edit. This is my form showing the data. I'll click on update. So it shows the message. Fine. Post updated successfully. This looks good. We'll quickly verify this thing also. So let's go to the lorem ipsum. Copy this. Okay, looks good. Now, what's next? What can we do in this more? We could have gone and deleted that record, right? But I want to make the edit process a bit easier. So for this, we can go back to the post controller. Okay, let's see a new thing over here. Session, we are going to talk about view and editing of the post, but let's talk something more about the route. We are going to have a binding over here, right? Model binding in the route. So now if you see, you are passing an ID, right? But Laravel is going to bind your model over here. Okay, Laravel can bind your model here. So I want the post model. I want the post model over here. So all I need to do is I need to say post $post. Okay, post $post. So now you don't have to fetch the post manually. You don't have to write that line of code. Simply get the post binding over here, right? Model binding. So now this model will be binded inside your URL. Okay, so let's go and check the working of this. I'll go back, click on edit, and missing required parameter for post update. Have we made any changes? 1 second, let me check. Go back. Okay, so you need to keep that variable name same, post, and placeholder should be same. The placeholder and this variable name should be same. So that was the only change I have done. And you can see now removing that line, I am not fetching it from the database. This work is also done by the Laravel because I have binded the route and the model. And if you want to refer to the documentation to read about it a bit more, you can go to the let's go for routing, and inside the routing you can find implicit binding. So here you see a route get users user. Okay, and inside the controller, like this is the closure part, but inside the controller you can fetch that user without writing that query, because the work will be done by Laravel. Laravel is going to look that okay, the ID that you are providing over here, then it will find the ID by the in the primary key column, pick that record, make the user object, and inject it over here. Okay, so that is what we have done over here. That is called as implicit binding. There is an explicit binding also, not required right now. Okay, so this looks good, and same thing we can do inside the update method also. So let's go and write the post here, not required your post object. Okay, cool. So go to the web.php, update the name over here. So why I had written earlier ID? Because we were actually using it as an ID only, and we were consuming it by requesting inside the model, fetching the record. But right now it is a post for us, right? So the routing part is done. Good. Let's go to the post controller again and also submit the form. Let's quickly see if the form submission is good. Yes, it is. More cleaning over here. Yes, we can do. So right now I can use the post update and we can call request only title and content. So now, but if I am calling the update method, right, and I'm passing the passing the params payload, do not forget to add the fillables. Okay, so now you see your code is more cleaner. All you are doing is you are updating the post, passing the message to the saving, flashing it inside the session and redirecting the route. Things are more cleaner, right? One small thing I am not doing over here is I am not adding the form request. I want you guys to do the form request by yourself and let me know if you are facing any issue. You can post it inside the comment. Okay, and that's all for today's session. Would request everyone to share this video YouTube channel to your colleagues. A lot more videos are going to come on this channel. Everything is going to be free. We are not going to keep any subscription ever in the future. Okay, we are already imparting up the trainings and all, so this thing is only for free distribution, so you can share it with your friends. And the source code, I got one of request that can we get the source code, so I'll be updating up the git URL of the source code inside the video description. Thank you everyone. Please practice it. We'll meet in our next video, talk about the deletion of the post and some more stuff. Thank you everyone. Bye.